Okay, this video is using the quadratic formula. Okay, and to use the quadratic formula, the solution to the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0 is given by the quadratic formula, and that is the quadratic formula. Okay, like I told you, there's no need to memorize it because when I give you a test or a quiz, you're allowed to use your notes. Okay, but the thing is, what is a quadratic equation? For us, as we learned before, quadratic means the highest power you're gonna see is a second power. So the fact that this is a quadratic second power, that is a quadratic equation. So this formula only works for quadratic equations. That means the highest power has to be a 2. Okay, it's given by the quadratic formula. Okay, now these are the steps to use the quadratic formula. Number one is the equation must be equal to 0 and find the a, b, and c values. In this problem, we're fortunate enough because the equations are equal to 0. So step number one is not really necessary. Now step number two, find the a and b value. Okay. Now the way I'm gonna find the a, b, and c value is the following. Okay. If you look in here, whatever's in front of the x squared, that is your a value. So this is the a value. My a value is 2. Now, whatever's in front of the x is your b value. That'll be your b value. This is my b value. There's nothing there, but there is a 1 in there. If there's nothing there, we say a 1. So this is my b value. Now, c stands for constant. That means no variable. So my constant is 3. So that is the c value. Okay. Now, I need to find the discriminant. So I'm going to write discriminant over here. D is, and the formula is b squared minus 4ac. That should be a 4. Now for this formula, plug in the b value. What is the b value? My b is -1, so my b is -1. -1 squared. If it's a negative, you must put it into parentheses. -1 squared minus 4 multiplied by a. What is the a value? Well, the a value in this problem is 2. So I'm going to put in the 2. Multiplied by the c value. C value is -3 because it's negative. You need to put in parentheses -3. Remember, anytime there's a negative, you must put in parentheses. Now, do what it tells you. Number one is -1 squared. -1 times -1 will give you +1. Now, negative times a positive will give you a negative, and negative times a negative will give you a positive. Now let's worry about the value. 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 3 is 24. So it's 1 plus 24. So 1 plus 24 will give you 25. So find my discriminant for this problem. Discriminant is 25. Now step number 3, use quadratic formula and simplify the expression as much as possible. So the quadratic formula will be the following. Okay, that way instead of writing all over again, I'm just gonna copy it. Mhm. So that's my next step is using the quadratic formula. Now to use the quadratic formula, this is a formula. So I'm gonna put in, when I do this, I'm going to have is equal to negative because the formula has a negative. Now it's asking me put in the v value. V value is -1, so I need to put a -1 in here. Very, very important. You cannot say, well, there's a negative in there. I don't need the other negative. The first negative is from the formula. The second negative is from the number. So minus -1, then plus or minus. Now, I did all this already. I did all this work already. And I'm sorry, that should be b squared minus 4ac. This is the same as over here. So this should be not b2, but sorry, when I copied it, didn't copy right. B squared minus 4ac. So that is square root of 25, because my discriminant is 25, divided by 2 times a. 2 times what is a? The a value is 2. So 2 times 2. Now to simplify that is 2 negatives will give me a positive 1, so that's just a 1. Plus or minus square root of 25. Square root of 25 is 5. And 2 times 2 will give you 4. Now, I cannot simplify any further because of the 5. Sometimes he wants to be positive, sometimes he wants to be negative. So what I'm going to do is I have to look at both cases. So what I'm doing here, I'm looking at both cases. Case number 1 is, what would the answer be if 5 is positive 5? Case number 2, what would the answer be if 5 was negative 5? So then the problem is this. So it's not x, the variable is not x, they gave me r. So in this case, it shouldn't be x, it should be r. So this problem is r is equal to 1. Instead of the 5, plus or minus 5, it has to be plus 5, plus 5, divided by 4. And 1 plus 5 will give you 6, divided by 4. Now, how many times is 4 going to 6? 1. And 1 times 4 is 6. 1 times 4 is 4. I need 2 more and to make it to 6. And I can reduce 2 fours. 2 fours is 1/2. So one answer is 1 and 1/2. That is one answer. Now, so one of my answers would be 1 and 1/2. Now the other answer is the following. Okay, now I have to investigate what is the answer when I have -5. So I have r is equal to 1. The 5 must be -5. And the bottom is always 4. So the only thing that's changing is the 5. Everything else is the same. And 1 take away 5 will give you -4 divided by 4. And -4 divided by 4 will give you -1. So that is the answer. So r is equal to 1 and 1/2, and r is equal to 1. Okay. Once again, this is an easier problem because we have to do step number 1 already. Okay. Now let's do a medium problem. Let's investigate and see how a medium problem looks like. Now this is a medium problem. So according to this is first the equation must be equal to 0. If it's not equal to 0, you make it equal to 0. Okay. So if I want to make this equal to 0, the way you do it is you do the following. You're going to put x squared here. Uh, Remember, the way you want to make it equal to 0, you want to pick the easy way. So the easy way is put the 0 right here. So I'm going to do minus x squared. And when you do to one side, you do to the other. Can I put it here? Can I put it here? So it has to be over here. So when I do that problem, these will cancel. So this will be 0 is equal to negative 4x plus 16 minus x squared. Well, basically what happens is nothing could be combined because they're not like terms. So nothing can be combined, okay? But what I gotta do is this has to be descending order and does not in descending order. When you put stuff in descending order, the highest power should be first and then lowest and lower power. So from the highest to the lowest power. So you have 0 is equal. My highest power is x squared, so that should be first. My next highest power is negative 4x, and my next highest power will be 16. Now it is equal to 0, and that is in descending power. So now what I need to do is I need to find out what is A, what is B, and what is C. Okay, this right here, that's my A power, and that's a negative 1. This is my B power. I'm sorry, B value, A value, and this will be my constant because it doesn't have no variables. So that is my C value. Okay, so step number one, I did that already. I set the equation equal to 0 and I found the A, B, and C value. Now, step number two is calculate the discriminant. So what I'm going to do is right here, I'm going to write the word discriminant, and I'm going to evaluate it. The formula is b squared minus 4ac. Take the b value and square it. My b value is negative 4, so I'm going to put in negative 4. Because it's negative, I need to put in parentheses. Square. B value is negative 4. Minus 4 multiplied by the A value. A value is negative 1. Because it's negative, you must put in parentheses. Times the C value. C value is 16. Now let's evaluate it. Negative 4 squared, that means negative 4 times negative 4. Negative times negative will give you a 16. Now let's worry about the sign first. A negative times a negative will give me a positive, and a positive times a positive will give me a positive. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 60 is 240. 16 plus 240 is 256. Okay, so I'm done with step number two. I calculated the discriminant. It turned out to be 256. So now step number three is to write down the correct formula. And I'm gonna have to write it because the last time I copied it it didn't copy correctly. X is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of discriminant is b squared minus 4ac, and all of that is divided by 2a. So I'm gonna put the equal right here. Now minus, because there's a minus in the formula, I put the minus. It's asking you for the b value. The b value is negative 4 because negative you must put in parentheses. Negative 4. Then plus or minus square root of the discriminant. I did all this. That is this discriminant right here. So my discriminant is 256. So that's going to give you 256 all over divided by 2 times a. 2 multiplied by a. The a value is negative 1. You must put in parentheses negative 1. Okay, so the answer is simplify this. Negative minus will give you a positive. Plus or minus square root of 256. Remember the way you do square root of 256, if you look at the times tables that we have online, look for 256 somewhere in here, somewhere in these numbers. Now, if I look at 256, it's right here, so the square root will be 16. So that'll give me 16. So now the way you do it is, I'm gonna go back in here, and instead of putting square root of 256, I'm gonna put in 16 all over 2a. 2 multiplied by a will give me 2 times the a value is negative 1. So the answer will be 4. I'm sorry, I had the 1 already here. I can simplify this. 2 times negative 1 will give me negative 1. So the right here we have a negative 2. That's as far as I can simplify it. The problem is a plus or minus 16, so I'm going to investigate what is the answer when the 16 is positive, what is the answer when the 16 is negative. So this would be plus 16, and this would be the answer that I obtain when the 16 is minus 16. So the problem is x is equal to, the problem becomes x is equal to 4. Now, since I have a choice, it must be positive 16 divided by negative 2. So the only thing that changes is 16. That's the only thing that changed at all. Okay, so 4 plus 16 will give you 20 divided by negative 2. 20 divided by negative 2 will give you negative 10. So one of the answers is x is equal to negative 10. Now let's investigate what is the answer when the 16 is negative 16. Hold on, let me scroll down. So now when the 16 is negative 16, the problem becomes the following. X is equal to, we have a 4. The 16 doesn't have a choice. It must be negative 16 divided by negative 2. Okay, now 4 take away 16 is negative 12, and that is divided by negative 2. 12 divided by negative 2 will give you positive 6. So x is equal to negative 1 and x is equal to negative 10. So as you can see, there are some problems where they don't, where you have to set the equation equal to 0. Okay, but that's okay. We can set equal to 0. Okay, so I did an easy problem, I did a medium problem. Now let me do a complicated problem. Okay, so now let's do a complicated problem. This is a really complicated problem. So step number 1, the equation must be equal to 0. If it's not equal to 0, you set equal to 0. So the way you do it is the equation is not equal to 0. So the way to set equal to 0, I'm going to get rid of these 2. So the way you get rid of it is minus 2. And then when you do it to one side, you do it to the other side. The negative 2 should be right here, should be with the other number, negative 2. So when I do that, these cancel. So we have 0 is equal to 18 minus 2 will give you 16. That is positive 16. There's nothing here, so that doesn't change. Minus 4x and minus 3x squared. Nothing changes, stays the same. So you have it, the equation is equal to 0, and it's already in descending order from the highest power to the lowest power. Now my job is to find out what is A, B, and C, the A value, B value, and C value. Now this is my A value, so A is negative 3. This is my B value is negative 4. And this will be my, I'm sorry, this is the B value. So this is the B value, and this will be the C value. Okay, so now with number 1, I set the equation equals 0, find the A, B, and C value. Now, I'm going to do the discriminant. And so right here, I'm going to write discriminant. Let me change the color pen. So I'm going to write the word discriminant. So to calculate, I need the formula and plug in the values, and then you simplify it. The discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. Find the values, plug them in, and then do the math. B value squared, B value is negative 4 because it's negative, negative a number. I need to put parentheses, square, minus 4 multiplied by a. The a value is negative 3. So this value should be negative 3 times the c value. C value is 16. Now, negative 4 squared will give you 16. Negative times a negative will give you a positive. Now, a negative times a negative will give you a positive, and a positive times positive will give you a positive answer. Now, let's go back and worry about the number. 4 times 3 is 12. And what is 12 times 16? I need my times table. So, 12 times 16 would be 192. So the answer here will be 192. So this answer will be 192. Now add the numbers. 2 plus 6 will give you 8. 9 plus 6 will give you 15. I'm sorry, 9 plus 1 will give you 10. 0 and carry your 1, so your answer is 208. Okay, now my discriminant is 208. Now let's use the formula. So for the formula, I'm going to do the following. Hold on, let me change the pen. So I'm going to write x is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. I'm sorry. Shouldn't be any capital letters, so it should be b squared minus 4ac. I'm going to say that earlier I was using capital A. Shouldn't use capital A, it should be lowercase. Divide by 2a. Now just plug in the values. I have a minus because of the format tells me you have a minus. What is the b value? B value is negative 4. So I'm going to put in here negative 4. Plus or minus the discriminant. Square root of discriminant. My discriminant is 208, so that's 208. Divided by 2 times a. And in this problem, the a value is negative 3. So I should put the negative 3, and because the number is negative, it must be in parentheses. Two negatives will make the 4 a positive 4, plus or minus. If you look 208 in your times tables, 208 will be somewhere in here. So we don't have 208, so you have to do it simplified, simplify the radical. Remember the way we simplify the radical, we do the following. You have 208 and do a factoring tree. 208, factor 208. Do you see 208 somewhere in here? 16 and 13. So the factors here will be, one of them will be 16 and one of them will be 13. Factors of 16 will be 4 and 4. Factors of 13, can I use 1 or 13? That is prime. Factors of 4, can I use 1 or 4? 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2 is prime. So all those numbers are prime. So here's what happens. They gave me 208. They gave me square root of 208. I can write this instead of 208, I can write all the prime factors of 208 in order to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 13. Now to simplify this, you're looking for pairs. 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 4 will give you plus or minus 2. Here's another pair. 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 4 will give you 2. He doesn't have a pair, so it'll be plus times square root of 13. Now 2 times 2 will give you, so the answer will be 4 square root of 13. So instead of this, I can do 4 radical 13, and 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And that's it because there's a radical in here. That's as much as I can simplify it. So this is my answer. Okay. These are problems where if you use the calculator, it will give you a decimal. But remember, when I do a test, I when I give you if it's multiple choice, I when I give you the answer in decimal form, I'll give it to you in this way. I need to see the radical. Remember that you need to know how to simplify a radical, not how to plug it into the calculator. Okay, plugging in the calculator is too easy. You need to know how to simplify it. So as you can see, I did an easy problem, a medium problem, and a difficult problem. Okay. Um, if you need to review this, watch the video again, but you should know how to use the quadratic formula now. Okay. Thank you.